Hi and welcome back to Andromeda 6. This is again episode 9 and we're continuing. If you missed the previous episode, I'm leaving a link to it over here in the top right corner. But if you've watched that, let's get on with this one. So the next day I awake with a knot in my stomach and a weight on my chest. This is it. Today we return to Goddess and fight our toughest battle yet. June had left a little earlier, heading back to his room to get ready for the day. I spent the morning getting in some last-minute training, and the afternoon helping various members of the crew get things ready for our departure. And if you guys remember, we are now on the Astra station, which is near the Catalfan ruins, and we're heading to Goddess pretty much right away, where we're gonna attack Ren. While we attack them, Alyssa and Zane are gonna be attacking the doctor who scrambled Vex's brain and is working on some nefarious stuff too. And he's again like pretty much the right hand of Zovack, so which we saw for the first time last time. So the evening comes around all too quickly, and after showering and getting dressed, I leave the comfort of my room before I have time to fall into my thoughts and psych myself out. Alright, when I reach the bridge, only Calderon and Damon are there, the command team discussing the plan for tonight. The captain looks up as I approach, the look on his face so grim that it gives me a bad feeling about what's going on here. Kiki, I'm glad you're here. We could use your help. Of course, what do you need? Over here, Damon says. I follow Damon to the large monitor that I often see him working at, and this time when he points to the screen, I immediately recognize a satellite rendering of Silta V. And by the way, I stopped the music for this episode, and it's gonna be no music from here on out, simply because I got a strike, like a copyright, not a strike, but like a copyright warning on the previous video, I think one of the previous ones. It was for one of the songs that are very frequently like shown here, so I'm not gonna have the music on just to avoid any trouble with the channel. It did say that it's still allowed on YouTube, so they won't take down my video, but I just don't want any trouble there. So no music from here on out. And I follow Damon. Oh yeah, we're at this satellite rendering of Silta V. Notice anything unusual? I lean forward, my eyes tracing the streets and alleys of the capital city. There are familiar places within the map, areas like the zoo and the main hub of the gold district that I remember from my adventures with Vex. At first glance, nothing seems out of the ordinary, but when I look closer... When was this image taken? 2 hours ago. Curfew isn't yet in effect. Squinting my eyes at the image, I try to make sense of what I'm seeing, but I can't come up with any explanation. The city is empty. Bingo. But why? That's what we're trying to figure out. Calderon scowls at the image on the monitor like it's a puzzle he can't quite solve. Either they've evacuated the entire city, which is highly unlikely, or they've got everyone locked up in their homes. The cogs in my mind begin to turn, putting the pieces together. They know we're coming. It's the most likely answer, yes. But the real question is how. And again, I think it's probably because we have a mole, like one of our people, like somebody within our rebel organization is like talking to Zovack directly. So I don't know who it is yet and whether it's someone that we have met already or someone who's entirely unknown to us, but we will find out. I turned the question over in my mind. Eldred had mentioned Chimeri spies in the ranks, but there's also another option, one that I hardly want to consider. Eldred mentioned Chimeri spies. Could Vex have something to do with this, or we should have seen this coming? This is a weird choice over here because the first choice echoes exactly what we just said, like the text that I just read, our thoughts. It said Eldred mentioned Chimeri spies, but then something else. It doesn't make sense for Eldred mentioned Chimeri spies again. So I feel like maybe this isn't the best choice we can pick, like Eldred mentioned Chimeri spies. I don't know if Vex could have had something to do with this, so I'm not sure. I couldn't be certain. And we should have seen this coming. I'm gonna mention the spies again, actually. It seems strange the way that they put it. Like, we just read, the text that we just read, it said, Eldred mentioned Chimeri spies, but something else could be on my mind. And then we mentioned the same thing again. But I'm gonna double down on the Khmeri spies. Eldred said that Zovack may have had help on the inside. Do you think they had a spy passing on information to him? We took lengths to ensure no one outside of our circle knew of our plans, but that doesn't mean it's not a possibility, Calderon says. There might have been something we missed. Or that slimy bastard has more people on his side than we thought. I hardly want to think about it, the fact that I spent all that time on Tillaren, possibly in the presence of Zovack loyalists. So, what do? We've got two options. Proceed as planned, or pull out and double back to Tillaren to form a new plan. Damon makes a sound as though he doesn't entirely agree with the captain. We've come this far already. I say we keep going, which I say the same thing too. Like, we're already here. We can do enough damage, like, by attacking Ren. We can still find Ren and take them out. Why not do it? We're here. We know where they are. We know presumably where the doctor is, so that Alyssa and Zane can attack him. I say we go and do it. Calderon says that might not be the best idea, and not just us, Alyssa and Zane would say the same. Curses don't run from a fight. There might not be much of a fight if we're heading into a trap. That is true too. Like, if they already have set a trap. Oh, it's a trap, there's no doubt about that, Damon says, yeah. Cal shakes his head at Damon's comment, and with a relenting sigh, he turns to me. Kiki, what do you think? I consider the options carefully before weighing in on the situation. On one hand, Damon could be right, and we may be walking straight into a trap. But if we do nothing, we give Zovack the time to work on a weapon that could wipe all of us from existence. If you guys remember, he took the blueprints from Tillaren, and the Tillari people had a blueprint for a planet-destroying weapon. Like a weapon that basically has the capability to destroy any planet, just like Kit Alpha got destroyed. So that is a huge threat to us. It's a time constraint. It's something that we need to consider. So I say we go. Even if it's a trap, we will handle it on our feet. I say that's what we do. We have a choice here. Again, we can't turn back now is the first option. Second option is, I think it's best if you decide, which I will not pick this option because we have been starting to take on a more of a leadership role on the ship. I think that could be something that we are good at. Or we can say, I need more time. I'm gonna say we can turn back now. We're so close, and with the threat of this weapon he's working on, I just don't see how we have any other choice. Calderon sighs again, but he nods in acceptance. Gods, I hope we're making the right decision. I don't want to think about the consequences of us choosing wrong. Then it seems I'm overruled. Kiki, set a course to Goddess. Got it. Following the captain's orders, I head for my station and bring up the monitor mapping out the course between Astra and Goldis. What once would have taken days to travel will now only take hours thanks to our new hyperspeed drive from Tillaren. But it's not getting to Goddess that's the problem. It's what will happen once we're there. Footsteps alert me to Calderon's presence, and when I look up at him, I see the worry that lines his face. Kiki, say nothing to the crew for the moment. I'll tell them what's happened when they arrive. His face drops and I can guess what he's thinking. Our odds of this mission being a success have dropped drastically. I think it's only fair that they're able to choose whether they can come with us or not. What if they choose to stay behind? They won't. Oh, that's nice. I mean, Calderon knows that the entire crew is loyal. I don't think the spy is one of our crew, unless it's Vex. He's the only one that I do have doubts about, because he could still very well be, working for Zovack. Although I think it's been shown enough that he is not on Zovack's side anymore, but we just cannot be sure. So the other option is that it's someone entirely different, somebody who we have not met yet from the rebel camp. Or it could be one of the people that we have met that we don't know much about, like Qatar or Tommy, who is the brand new character we met last time. So with a small smile, Cal heads over to his station, his voice echoing through the speakers as he calls the rest of the crew to the bridge. It's only after he's left that Damon comes over to me, his hands shoved in the pockets of his coat as he hovers nearby. Hey, thanks for having my back before. You are right, we've come too far to go back now. He leans in a little, his voice conspiratorially low when he speaks again. So you're for kicking some Khmeri butt? Just point me in the direction. I'm ready to go. That's what I like to hear. But just in case, stay close to me. I'll keep you safe, Damon says. He looks at me in such a way that I know he's telling the truth. In this moment, I can hardly find the words to tell him how much that means to me, but I think he already knows it. The crew soon arrives on the bridge, each of them taking this new information on board and making the decision to come with us or stay behind. To his credit, Calderon was right, and within the hour, each and every one of us is ready to depart for Godes. Yeah, he was right. Everyone here is loyal, and they wouldn't back down. A few hours later, we emerged from hyperspeed, and though I doubt my body will ever truly get used to the sensation, the medicine Rayona had given me to take before we traveled has helped. I peer out the window. Ooh, look at the planet. That's right there is Goldis. It's very gold. I peer out the window at the front of the bridge, seeing Goldis for the first time in over a month, and the torrent of emotions rush through me. It's crazy how it's only been 1 month, like 30 days, 31 days or whatever, and we have made these friendships. We've had like so much happen. It's insane. Calderon unbuckles himself from his seat and stands, turning to face us all. Let's take a quick breather. Damon is getting in touch with our contacts on the ground, so we'll need to wait here for the time being. He starts to turn away, but thinks better of it, hesitating a moment before he speaks again. And I just want to say, thank you to everyone for agreeing to this. To be honest with you, I'm not sure we would have stood the chance without all of us here together. I'm grateful that you all chose to stand together as a crew. We wouldn't have it any other way, Cap, Vash says. The rest of us agree with Bash, and Cal gives us all a sheepish smile before he clears his throat and steps back into the role of our captain. Wrap up any last-minute business. As soon as Damon gives the word, we prepare to land. Unclasping my seatbelt, I push myself to my feet, wobbling for 1 second before regaining my balance. I roll my shoulders, stretching out the muscles, and when Vex steps over to me, his face unreadable. Ready for this? Yeah, you? His eyes dip to the ground, and I wonder what kind of thoughts are running through that head of his and how much he's holding back. As ready as I'll ever be. I resist the urge to reach for his hand, reminding myself that it shouldn't feel as natural as it still does. Vex hesitates for a moment, as though he might say more, but with the shake of his head, he dismisses it. It'll be strange, don't you think, heading back to Siltavi? The last time we were there together was... I trail off, memories of laughter and lights and music flooding me and making me remember everything that's happened since then. It feels like it was another life. It kind of was, we say. We study each other for a moment, and my thoughts immediately turn to that smiling boy who would lay on the grass with me in the sunshine. I know he's still in there somewhere. I just wanted to say, in case I don't get another chance, that you're the best thing that's ever happened to me. Oh, don't say that. You know that we have... I mean, I understand why he would want to say that, but it's kind of inappropriate considering he knows we're with June now. So it feels manipulative and inappropriate to say that. I don't know. I do understand that it is what he feels, what he is feeling, and it's true for him. But again, he says, and if something happens to me... I grab his hand and hold it in mine, staring at him with pleading eyes. Vex, stop. Nothing is going to happen to you. I won't let it. He smiles at me, a little bit of that familiar brightness creeping back onto his face and into those emerald eyes. Alright, let's make a deal. You watch my back and I'll watch yours, like old times. It's a deal. His hand lingers in mine before he finally forces himself to drop it, and my fingers tingle at the absence of his warmth. He opens his mouth to speak, but obviously thinks better of it as he drops his head and shakes it slightly. I'll leave you to get ready. See you on the ground, princess. I watch him as he heads over to Damon, and I can't shake the sense that something is going on with him. Maybe it's nothing, or maybe he's just nervous about going home, but after the treatment he received on Teleran, I thought he was doing okay. Looking around, I notice June over by the window. When I go over to him, he smiles at me briefly before inclining his head to the view. It looks kind of beautiful from here, don't you think? I look towards the planet that's caught his attention, which from this side is shrouded in darkness. Goldis. Home. This is the first time I've seen it from the sky. Yeah, it kind of does. June slips his hand into mine and holds on tight. My chest expands at his touch, filling with warmth and affection. I'm with you, Kiki. With anything that happens on Goddess and whatever comes afterwards. I'll be by your side. Oh, that's really sweet. I can't stop myself from turning to him, from reaching a hand towards his face and letting him close the distance between us to kiss me. Here, in his arms, is the safest possible place I can imagine. We'll make it through this mission together. We have to. How do you think Lizzie is feeling? Missing out on all the action? My hair stirs with his breath as he sighs and holds on a little tighter. He's safer on Astra, at least until we return. Also, he left the lizard on Astra. Okay. A couple of Katar's friends on the station had taken a liking to Lizzie, and June had made the difficult decision to leave him in their care while we complete the mission. I can see on his face how much he misses him already, and I have to admit that I'm missing the little guy too. Let's focus on what we're here for, so we can get back to our boy. June pulls back a little to place a kiss on my forehead, his soft smile chasing away my nerves and replacing them with something else entirely. We stay here, in each other's arms for as long as we can, until the captain is calling us over to tell us it's time. We all gather together, waiting as Damon pulls himself away from the monitor and strides over to us, his face giving away nothing. The bad news is that our communication is dark. I can't get in touch with anyone on the ground. I've tried a couple of security bypasses, but no luck. Our channels to Alyssa and Kadar are also offline. What could be causing that, Ayame asks. Some kind of jammer, most likely something on the planet blocking our communication systems. So what's the good news? We share a few looks, apprehension hanging thick in the air. It becomes clear after a few moments that there is no good news, and we really are going into this mission blind. Listen, it's clear that they're expecting us, but we don't know what else they know. These may only be preliminary precautions on their part. With the cloaking device installed on our ship, we can't be tracked on any radar, so it's likely they don't know we're here yet. We have a plan. As long as we stick to it, things will work out. Calderon looks confident, and while I don't immediately share his enthusiasm, I have to force myself to stay positive. There's too much at stake to think otherwise. We have a choice, again, to speak up and reassure the crew or to say nothing. And again, I am going to take on a leadership role. I'm going to speak up and reassure the crew because, first of all, it's good for our image. It's good for the way that we present ourselves on the ship and the role that we play to help out on the ship. And second of all, it's just a good thing to reassure people who are nervous and who are feeling down or uncertain. So speak up and reassure the crew. Half of our crew knows this city well, me, Cal, Aya, and Vex. This is our home, and it's been infiltrated by outsiders. We can use that to our advantage. There are a few nods from the crew who all listen to me intently. Vex grew up in the Silver District. He can guide us from the terminal, and once we get to Gold, which I'm sure Calderon knows like the back of his hand, he can take over. We'll take the back streets and alleyways at all the places the Chimeri have no knowledge of. The longer we remain undetected, the better chance we have of catching Ren off guard. It's a good plan. I gotta say, it just might work. I give Damon a grateful smile. It is a simple plan, to be sure, but it will be effective enough if it works. And right now the crew need all the confidence they can get. While everyone busies themselves getting strapped into their seats, Calderon seems to have let his mind drift elsewhere. He stands in the middle of the bridge, his eyes fixated on the planet in front of us. Slowly, I step forward and place a hand on his shoulder. Cal, everything okay? He clears his head with a snake. He clears his head with a shake and turns to give me a smile. It's all good. You ready to go? With a nod, I head over to my station and get belted in, looking ahead as Aya and Calderon start preparing the ship for landing. My stomach flips with apprehension. This is it. We're almost there. No turning back now. Ayame pilots the ship to the Silver District terminal with no issues, but both the city and the terminal itself are quiet. Too quiet. On entry we encounter no resistance, no enemy ships, nothing at all. We gather together in the dock of the ship, the 7 of us surrounding the captain, ready for our orders. He faces us with a stern expression, the very picture of a leader, but there's something strange in his look that I can't quite place. Weapons ready? We'll disembark in teams of 2. Ayame and I will go first to make sure the coast is clear. Once we've made confirmation, June and Bash will spread out and establish a safe zone. Kiki and Vex, you'll be next. Keep your guard up as the rest of us sweep the area. And lastly, Damon and Rayona. If all goes to hell, take the ship and get your butts back to Astra. Alright. As if we'd leave any of you here. Calderon makes a face as though he might argue against Damon, but then he drops his shoulders, thinking better of it. Fine, you're right, we're in this together. Calderon looks around at all of us, taking in a deep breath before he nods, signaling his readiness. Let's do this. Alright, this is exciting. I wonder how's it gonna go. I wonder if the chapter will end before we get the chance to find out like what really happens, because that would be an insane cliffhanger. I don't know yet, but we'll see. As Calderon and Ayame descend the opening ramp into the terminal, I pat myself over to make sure my gear is in place. My 2 blasters are strapped to my thighs and I fire my tactical visor, hearing the whir in my ear as it engages. Immediately the crew are lit up with a green outline, confirming them as allies. The knife I'd received from Damon is in the sheath around my calf in case I need it for backup. Taking one of the blasters from the holster, I check over the settings. Oh, again we have the option to either keep the settings on stun or switch it to kill. And... oh, what should I do? Because previously, I thought that our choice was final, because we did have this choice with like a warning on top of it that said if you choose stun now, then you won't kill anyone. But you know what? Should we kill them? Should we kill or stun? We are gonna take on Ren. So let's switch the setting to kill. Let's kill people. Switch setting to kill. I let out a little breath as I set the blaster to kill. This isn't the time for showing mercy, especially when we're up against Kameri. Oh, this is so bad. Why did I do that? There's also a small comm device snugly fit into my ear which will allow me to communicate with the crew. It's through this device that I now hear Calderon's voice, alerting Bash and June that the coast is clear. I let out a small breath of relief, grateful that they hadn't run into any trouble, but the nerves in my stomach pick up as my time to descend the tramp draws nearer. June squeezes my hand before he follows Bash off the ship, the warmth of his touch easing some of my anxiety. Remember, Kiki, this is our home. We can't let Zovack and the Chimera get away with what they've done. He holds his rifle at the ready, and I have to admit that I'm glad to have someone as experienced as him heading out there with me. You're right, we won't let them get away with it any longer, and I'm gonna kill them. He gives me a small smile, adjusting the grip on his weapon. I've got your back. His gaze lingers a little too long on my face, though I know I'm guilty of exactly the same thing. Cal gives the next signal, and with my boots echoing down the ramp, we exit the ship and enter the Silver District Terminal. Alright, we have a new background over here. I'm guessing this is the terminal. Wow, it's enormous. That is incredibly huge. It looks like maybe an aircraft holding space, I don't know. The first thing that takes me aback is the enormity of the building. I had expected big, since the place was meant to accommodate all kinds of ships. So I was right, okay, that's good. But actually being here for the first time has left me a bit awestruck. The second thing is how quiet it is. The 4 that had descended the ramp before us are up ahead checking the ships and behind the equipment for any sign of life. Everything looks clear, Captain, June says. June and Bash are the furthest away from Vex and I, one on each side of the building, sweeping to make sure it's safe. Cal, Ayame calls. At Ayame's shout, I whip towards Calderon and Ayame, finding the captain glued to the spot, his head bowed and his shoulders rising and falling with quick, rapid movements. Cal? Panic rises in me, but I manage to swallow it down as I hurry towards him, stowing my weapons. Aya stands aside, her eyes wide and her hands covering her mouth as she watches on. What's wrong? Can't breathe. Is he having a panic attack? Oh no. He sinks to his knees, his weapons forgotten on the ground beside him, and I hear light footsteps beside me as Damon rushes to his side. He's having a panic attack. Cal drops his head, his hand gripping the uniform over his chest while Damon unbuttons the top of his collar to help him breathe. I catch a glimpse of the raised scar that covers his neck and travels down to his shoulder, and I wonder how he got it. His chest heaves as he sucks in lungfuls of air, and I can see that while he's trying to calm himself, it isn't having much of an effect. I'm sorry, he says. Don't apologize, just breathe. Deep and easy, that's it. Damon drops to a knee beside him, a hand on the captain's shoulder while Aya takes his other side. It's just being back here after everything and not knowing my parents. We can either support him or give him space. Yeah, support him. I'm on my knees with him in an instant, trying my best not to crowd him, but to let him know that we're all here to support him through this. It's alright, Cal. We've got all the time in the world. Breathe with me in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. I breathe with him, long deep inhales and steady exhales until some of his trembling begins to ease. That's it, you've got this. Look up and tell me what you see. Cal raises his head slowly and I give him an encouraging smile despite the panicked pounding of my heart. Kiki, he says. Good. What can you smell? I am his perfume. What do you feel? Damon squeezes Cal's shoulders in encouragement and I can see that whatever he's doing, it's working. Your hand on my shoulder. Focus on those things. They'll help you through this. The captain takes in another couple of deep breaths before he lowers his head again, his eyes squeezed shut. I'm sorry. You've got nothing to be sorry for, we say. We're here for you, Ayama adds. Just tell us what you need. Aya leans her head on his shoulder, her face shadowed with worry. This is good. It's helping. After a few more moments, Damon holds out a hand to help the captain to his feet, giving him the time to slowly stand. I'm sorry, Cal. I could see that something was wrong with you, but I didn't know what. It's not your fault, don't ever think that. I should have opened up more, He hesitates and drops his head. Though his breathing has evened out, his voice is still raspy when he speaks. I should have trusted you all instead of taking on everything on my own. That's in the past now. We gotta focus on how we can help you move forward. Is there anything else you need right now? I don't know. I'm not sure what will help. Hugs always help me when I'm feeling down, Aya says. Cal smiles at her and I see the bond between them, how strong their friendship is. Yeah, maybe I could give that a try. They're gonna hug? We can nod to Ayame to go ahead or hug him. I'm gonna hug him. I step forward and open my arms and offer, and with a sheepish smile he steps into my hug. He breathes in deep and I hold on tight. I can still feel him shaking, so I let him stay this way as long as he needs to. It doesn't take long until I hear Aya giggle and then wrap her arms around the both of us. And then another pair of arms joins hers and another until the entire crew is crowded around the captain, hugging him tight. And the gesture would be heartwarming if it wasn't completely crushed between them all. If I wasn't completely crushed between them all. We're trying to help him breathe, remember, not suffocate him more. There are a series of laughs and giggles as everyone pulls back again, and Cal shakes his head as he chuckles softly. Surprisingly, that helped. Told ya. So, will you tell us what's going on now? Calderon hesitates, and I know that even now, after what just happened, it's still difficult for him to open up. I feel like everything is crashing down on me. Every time I solve one problem, another 3 pop up in its place. It's like there is no end. I can't understand how he feels. He's been holding this crew together for so long, has been the strength and the leader that everyone needed without any consideration for himself. It's no wonder he reached a breaking point. You're not alone. Let us take over. Bex and I know where to go. We'll show everyone the way. We've all learned from you in some way. We know what to do. You can take a step back. He nods and takes in another deep breath. His shoulders shudder, and when he exhales, he seems to breathe a little easier. Things stow away. Rihanna comes forward, her footsteps clipped on her face, and her face lined with worry. We should head back to the ship. I can look you over. No, I'll be fine. Rihanna gives him a look, and he relents with a drop of his shoulders. We all know he isn't fine. I'm okay to keep going for now. I'll let you check me out as soon as we return to the ship. Rihanna nods, and while I know she's not happy with the decision, she accepts it. Damon? Calderon turns to his second in command, his expression somber. I don't trust myself to make the best decisions for the crew while we're here, so you're in charge. You're making me captain, Damon snickers. Cal lets out a sigh as though he might immediately regret this decision. Temporarily. Don't let it get to your head. Captain Reznor. I like the sound of that. Damon. I'm just kidding, you know I've got this, but every good captain needs a second. Damon turns to me and cocks his head to the side, his smile only widening as he assesses me. You up for it, Kiki? Yes, of course. We can say of course, or why me, or you should choose someone else. I'm gonna say of course because we are more of a leadership type of situation. I've already explained why. But again, I just think it's best if we take on a more of a leadership role apart from other stuff that we do around the ship, because that's how we bring value, I guess. Of course, I can't let you run things all on your own. Who knows where they'll end up. Kind of insulting, but I'll take it. Damon chuckles slightly as he puts a hand on my shoulder, and I can see that he is happy with my decision. It means a lot to me that he thinks I'm up to the task, and I don't intend to let him down. Hands up, don't come any closer, Bash says. At the sound of Bash's shouts, we rush over, finding him and June, guns raised at two unfamiliar figures who have appeared. My visor lights them up with a red outline, and I raise one of my guns in anticipation. They hesitate, hands raised in front of them as they stop in their tracks and stare at us. Bash, put your gun down. Ayame rushes past Bash and June, and to my surprise, she flings herself at one of the figures in a hug. Katie! Oh, who is that? Aya, oh gods, it's so good to see you. Katie. I look over to the woman that Aya seems to know, noting her warm smile and soft eyes. She's dressed in casual clothes, but I don't miss the large pistol sitting in its holster at her hip. Katie returns Aya's embrace, though when she spots Calderon, she straightens and gives him a nod. Commander? It's good to see you, Katie. Aya turns to the rest of us with a broad smile and ushers the other woman forward. This is Katie Sangvi. She was in our unit in the Bronze District and helped us organize our landing here. Bronze District this time is not with a capital B. I noticed that. I clocked that. We all know that Katie greeting before our attention snaps to the other man at her side. Who is this, Commander Lynch? I'm relieved to see you made it, he says. Cal steps forward to shake the man's hand, the two of them seeming familiar with one another. I relax my stance, now confident we're not under any kind of threat, and he is hot. Whoever he is hot. Commander Kwan, thank you for your assistance. Of course, it was the least I could do. So it's Kwan. Commander Kwan frowns, and I swear for a moment a look of guilt flashes across his face. He takes in a deep breath and pins Cal with a firm stare. I must apologize for Lieutenant Larson's actions. If I had known what he was planning with the Chimeri... Calderon's face drops and he nods in acknowledgement. I see a hint of emotion crawl into his eyes, but he manages to keep himself steady. It's not your fault. Jasper acted of his own accord. Still, he was a lieutenant in my district. I'm sorry that you paid the price for his deceit. Jasper was a guard member in the Silver District then, and Calderon had already mentioned that Sela was a singer in the Gold District Club. And then the two of them had betrayed him and left him for dead. The memories that this place is dredging up for the man must be awful. There's a pause and perhaps a slight hesitation before Cal speaks again. Any word on where he is now? Kwan says, last I heard he was sent to Orion to assess damages to the mines and the Ryanite facilities. Your handiwork, I suppose? Cal nods and Commander Kwan gives him a small, knowing smile before he turns to me. You're the Pegasi. I'm Ji-Hoon Kwan, Silver District Commander. We saw your broadcast on Telaran. We're with you, Princess Kiki. Oh, that's nice. Okay. Commander Kwan kneels before me and Katie swiftly follows suit with their heads bowed in respect. We can say you don't have to do that or thank you for your support. I'm going to say thank you for your support because that just shows a little bit more of an air of leadership. I appreciate your support, Commander Kwan, and you, Katie. I'm glad to have you both on our side. They push themselves to their feet and acknowledge my words with a nod. However we can assist you, please let us know. As I think you already know, we're here to take down Ren Carroll and weaken the Chimeri. We've heard they're patrolling the gold district, but we don't know the numbers they have with them or the exact location. Any information or backup that you can provide us with would be appreciated. Calderon says, "This is Damon Reznor. He'll be leading our crew while we're here on Goldis." Quan gives Cal a pointed look before he inclines his head to Damon in an affirmative nod. "Captain Reznor?" I resist the urge to smirk, knowing Damon will be completely eating this up. "Commander, let's get down to business, shall we?" Quan inclines his head, and I take that as a cue to start asking questions as the acting second in command. "Do you know anything about what's jamming our communications?" "No, not much. It's only tonight that the comms have gone down. We didn't know for sure if we were still coming, but your comrades passed through here earlier, heading for Brown's." "Alyssa and Zane?" "Yep, that's them." Katie smiles before her face twists into a look of distaste. Ren is holed up in Gale Plaza in the center of the gold district. There are dozens of Chimeri crawling through the district. From what we've seen, it looks like they're waiting for something. Us, no doubt. Damon frowns, and I take a moment to glance around the terminal. Besides Commander Quan and Katie, the place seems deserted. "How many of you are there?" "About 20 here at the terminal, working out of sight. But there are others we can pick up along the way." "Not enough." I resist the urge to elbow Damon for his bluntness. "It'll have to do," we say. "What's your weapon situation like?" "Well stocked. Zovack believes we're loyal to him." Katie lets out a little laugh, her fingers trailing over the body of her pistol. "He won't after tonight. We've already had to dispatch half a dozen Chimeri to keep the terminal clear for you." Damon gives me a look, and I know what he's saying, even without words. Nothing about the situation is in our favor. "Get the others and meet us at the plaza. Take out any Chimeri you run into along the way. Stay hidden until the fighting starts. We'll head out first and make sure the path is clear for you. Here, take this comm device. If you run into any trouble, let us know." I take the device and give them each a smile, thankful for any help that they're able to provide. "Thank you, Commander. And you, Katie. Good luck. We'll see you soon." Okay, so we have like some more people who are on our side. It's good. Maybe not enough, but it is good. Footsteps echo from behind Katie and Commander Quan, and when I look past them, I see a pair of familiar figures heading our way. My headgear immediately outlines them in green, and I grin as I rush over to greet them. "Tommy." "Hello, Princess." He inclines his head to me in greeting, his blonde hair falling effortlessly around his face. "What are you doing here?" "I was sick of sitting around until Laren. Thought I'd come and lend a hand." "I brought this one with me too." That's Kadar, most likely. "Oh no, Oppo! Oppo does not want to be here, but Oppo wanted to help their friends." I smile at Oppo, happy to see them. Despite no doubt being afraid to be here, they came anyway. "You'll be just fine, Oppo." Tommy gives Oppo a reassuring pat on the shoulder before he turns to me again. "We're with you. Just tell us what you need." I give him a grateful smile, and a little bit of the knot on my stomach begins to unravel. "I'm glad you're both here. We can use all the help we can get." Commander Quan and Katie say their goodbyes as they take their unit and head out towards Gale Plaza to wait for us, and the rest of us gather together in the terminal. Knowing that we have allies on our side is helping to ease my doubts, and I hope that wherever Zane and Alyssa are, their mission is going well. "Alright, everyone, come in close. Let's go over the plan." Once we leave this terminal, Vex will guide us to the edge of the Silver District. From there, he and Kiki will show us a way to the back streets of Gold, taking us towards Gale Plaza. Our job, once we reach the plaza, is surveillance. We need to remain undetected in order to scope out the situation and decide how to attack. Taking Ren and the Chimeri by surprise will be our biggest advantage. I nod along with the crew, understanding the situation. Vex and I know plenty of alleyways and secret spots in the Gold District, having used them whenever we would sneak into the city. Getting to Gale Plaza shouldn't be a problem, but once we're there... "Tommy, will you fight with us?" I eye Tommy's sword, knowing how capable he is with it, especially being ex-guard. He could be a real asset on this mission. "Gladly," he says. "Oppo, I know you're good with technology. Will you help the guard try to get past the communication jammer?" "As long as Oppo does not have to fight, Oppo will help." Then it's settled. Damon looks around at us all, his gaze landing lastly on Calderon, who gives him a swift nod. Everyone ready? Let's get moving. Together we make our way through the terminal and out into the Silver District, Vex immediately guiding us to a nearby alley and out of sight. The 9 of us stick together, keeping onto the shadows as we make our way through the back streets towards Gold. I'm not familiar with this part of the city, but Vex seemed to know the way, and I trust him to get us there unseen. We move hurriedly. The city's so dark that sometimes all we have is the light of the moon to guide us. If the Chimeri know we're here, they haven't shown any signs of it, which gives me hope. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at those buildings. They're like skyscrapers with like some sci-fi orbs and lines going around. After some time, we duck down a dimly lit back street and Vex turns back to us, his face set in a grim determination. We're almost at the border of the Gold District. There's a train station up ahead, and after that we'll cross into one of the residential zones. There's not a lot of cover from here until Gold, so I'll scout it out before we all move on. Wait here until I return and stay out of sight. I'll come with you. I can watch your back, Ayame says. Vex nods, and both he and Ayame head off together into the darkness. Damon lets out a long breath as he leans back against the wall of the alley, and I head over to him. His eyes are shadowed by the dim light as he balances a knife in his hand, pressing the tip of it into his finger. What you did for Cal back there when he was having a panic attack, how did you know what to do? Oh yeah, the whole thing about that's a real thing that's used to ground you whenever you're having a panic attack, is to have to mention 5 things you see, 5 things you hear, 5 things you can feel. Helps you to calm down a little bit. He glances to the side where the rest of the crew are waiting on Vex and Aya to return before he turns back to me. I used to have panic attacks when I was growing up. That's what Alyssa would do for me. Oh, it's nice that she did it, but it's sad that he had to go through that. But he did have a very tough life growing up. It always seemed to help, he says. I nod, though my eyebrows dip at the thought. Damon always gives off so much confidence, I can hardly imagine a time where he used to struggle with such things. I know what you're thinking. It wasn't exactly easy being a kid on Cursa, especially when you had to fend for yourself. Sometimes things would get overwhelming. Damon, don't look at me like that, like I'm some wounded puppy dog. I've learned how to work through them since then. But Cal? I don't know. It's hard seeing him like that. You really care about him, don't you? We ask. I care about all the crew, even the ones who ask me stupid questions. I make a gesture to show I'm sealing my lips and hurry off to check in with June. Hey, are you doing okay? Yeah, I'm fine. How are you holding up? I'm trying to focus on the mission. It feels strange to be back here. June smiles at me softly, and when he reaches for me, I let him pull me in and hold me close. You're doing great, Kiki. I'm proud of you. And I really want to tell you that The sound of footsteps interrupts us, and the heavy breathing of Vex and Naya cuts through the silence as they slip back into the alleyway, clearly having run some distance. There are Chimeri up ahead at the train station, but they seem to be sticking to the main streets and other well-lit areas. We should be able to bypass them easily enough, but it's best we go a couple at a time. That way, if any of us are caught... He trails out, but we all catch his meaning. If any of us are caught, there will still be others who can go on and complete the mission. Once again, Vex and Naya take the lead, and we all follow 2 or 3 at a time, with Tommy and I bringing up the rear. I spot the Chimeri Vex had mentioned, taking care to be ultra cautious around the train station, until finally we make it to the Gold District. Immediately, the familiar streets of Gold bring back memories. This is the first time I've been back since the night I ran away and landed myself with the A6 crew. There are no signs of the coup beside the emptiness. Buildings still stand, structures are in one piece. June had told me that I'd been injured by a collapsing bridge, but it seemed that Zovack had been quick with repairs. There are no signs of destruction anywhere. As though nothing had ever happened, and the throne has always belonged to just Zovack. A lot of memories here, Vex says. I turn to find Vex at my shoulder, a strange look wasn't Vex and Aya were leading, and we were at the very back with Tommy. How is Vex turning around to us? I thought we were separated. I turn to find Vex at my shoulder, a strange look coming across his face, and I know he feels it too. That tug from the past. I kind of miss those days, he says. We can say I miss them too, or they were a lie, or we had some good times. And for this option I will pick we had some good times. I give him a small smile as I think back on the times we snuck into the city. This city. How we would enjoy all the music and lights that have now disappeared. Yeah, we had some good times back then. A lot has changed, for better or for worse. If I could take it all back, I would. His hands twitch at his sides as though he would reach for me, but then he thinks better of it. Kiki, I have to tell you that I still... Oh no. We should keep going, it isn't safe to linger. Yeah, now is not the time to be talking about like, oh, I still love you or things like that. That it's just not the right time, I'm sorry. June gives me a strange look as we pull apart quickly, though I do my best to ignore it. Vex and I lead on, and we all fall into silence as we stick to the shadows of the skyscrapers and high-rise apartments that litter the district. We come across only one other person in our way when we take shelter in the back of a small shop after having found the door unlocked. She warns us that anyone caught out after curfew gets taken away and they don't come back. I don't tell her that I think our fates would be even worse. Along the way, I stop to check in with Calderon, and Rayona has been doing the same. So far, so good. He seems to be holding up okay, which I'm guessing is largely in part due to Damon taking the lead. Eventually, we find ourselves on the outskirts of Gale Plaza, where we pause, taking it in turns to get a glimpse of what we're up against. The plaza is crawling with Cameri, and right in the center of them all, I spot Ruena speaking into a comm device and dishing out orders to the other soldiers. We backtrack a little before we converge again, out of earshot of the enemy, and my stomach drops as I realize the true scale of our disadvantage. Did you see how many there were? We're outnumbered at least 3-1, even with Kwon and the guard. If we run there, guns blazing will last half a second at most. Annoyance gets the better of me, knowing how truly unprepared we had been for this. I understand that Nerissa and the other leaders had wanted a smaller unit on this mission, but right now, we could use a few of those rebel soldiers on our side. We need a plan, and quick, before they notice we're here. As the crew and Tommy discuss the best way to move forward, I look upwards, towards the top of the high buildings surrounding us. We're surrounded on all sides by buildings tall enough to block out the night sky. Buildings that might provide us with a vantage point that we can use to our advantage. Vantage point? Advantage. Even if there are Cameri already up there, the structures are too close in this part of the city to make us out on the ground. And with the element of surprise, we could secure our own perch on the rooftops. When I glance at Vex, and in particular the rifle strapped to his back, he cocks his head at me. I know that look. What are you thinking? I mean, that looks like a sniper, right? So maybe he can oh, voice crack. Maybe he can take out Ren with a sniper. We can tell them your plan or shrug it off. I'm not gonna shrug it off because we are a leader now. I'm gonna tell them our plan. My eyes drift to the buildings once more as the plan forms, and I decide it can't hurt to put it forward to the group. We don't have the numbers, but they don't know that. What if we send our best gunners to the roofs and pick them off while the rest of us distract them on the ground? Not all of our weapons have that kind of range, June says. Commander Kwon will be nearby. He said the guard are well stocked, so maybe we can ask for his help. It's worth a shot, and I don't think we have many options. Get Kwon on the comms. I nod at the order before taking out the comm device that Kwon had given me at the Silver District Terminal. I always have trouble saying silver for some reason. Commander Kwon, do you copy? The device is quiet for a few moments before there's a short burst of static, and the commander's voice comes through the line. Copy. I relay the plan to him quickly before passing the comm device to Vex to describe the weapons we'll need. Kwon agrees to send a few of his men to the rooftops to assist, and before we know it, we have a plan. Taking a moment to myself, I suck in a deep breath and will my shaking hands to still at my sides. Knowing that this is my plan has thrown my nerves into overdrive. This has to work. This has got to work. June, Rayona, you're our best shots. Will you go with Vex? I'm on it. I don't... Rayona's eyebrows dip in the middle, and I can guess well enough where her thoughts have turned. The last time she encountered the Cameri and lost control. This isn't like before, Rai. You're stronger now, and you can trust yourself to do this. Remember that you're fighting for your home and your family, too. Rayona hesitates, and I understand that after all she's been through with the Chimeri and the Archangel, this is a horrible situation to put her in. But I also know how strong she is. After a second longer, she nods, determination shining in her bright yellow eyes. You're right. Thank you, Bash. And she's blushing a little bit because her and Bash, they have begun their little thing. They're sort of an item now. Rayona tiptoes up to kiss Bash on the cheek, and a soft, silly smile comes across his face. None of us say a word, though there are more than a few knowing grins shared between us. Yeah, see, they're an item, they're a thing now. Vex gets them all organized, and the three of them prepare themselves to meet Kwon snipers on the rooftops. I find myself in front of June, watching as he finishes getting his rifle ready, and the sense of dread comes over me. The last thing I want is to be separated from him. But besides Vex, he's the best shot we have, and It's alright, he says. His words cut through my chaotic thoughts like a balm, and I throw myself into his arms and let him hold me tight for these last few seconds together. I'll see you soon, okay? I'll be waiting. He gives me a last soft smile as he heads towards the corner of the building, Rayona and Vex trailing behind them. I grab Vex by the arm before he goes, my fingertips gripping his jacket, and I suddenly starting to regret this entire plan. If something happens to him, if this is the last time I'll ever see him... It's alright. I know, he says. My mouth parts, and when I look into those dark green eyes, I see it. He knows why I can't let him go, why there will always be this connection between us, the one that I just can't shake. Be careful, we say. Those two words are all I can manage to say, and I'm painfully aware of the audience around us. I'll be back, don't worry. He brushes the side of my face with his fingertips before him, June, and Rayona are leaving to find the way up to the building. With the three of our crew departing on their own mission, the remaining 6 of us go over the plan to enter Gale Plaza, which basically consists of us distracting Ren while Kwon gets his men into position ready to back us up. I glance at Cal to make sure he's ready for this, finding his shoulders squared and his mouth set in a tight, determined line. With Kwon prepared and ready on the other end of our comms, we sneak down on the street toward the large central plaza, ensuring that none of us are spotted by the Chimeri before we need to be. Alright, weapons ready. If they start shooting, then get to cover, but our goal is to keep Ren talking for as long as it takes the guard and the rest of our crew to get set up. He takes in a deep breath as he looks around at each of us, steeling himself for what lies ahead. What makes you think they won't start shooting? Unfortunately, I know Ren, and I know Zovack. They'll have a plan, and I can guarantee that will include at least one of us. Damon inclines his head towards me, and my nerves spike. I can only hope that what he's saying is true and they won't execute us all on sight. If things go to hell, well, it was fun to be captain even for a little while. He grins at us all, and I think some of his confidence is rubbing off on me because I find myself believing that this is going to work. Let's go, he says. Alright. Oh, look at that. Like, Zovack has truly taken over. Like, there's so many Chimeri flags and around the fountain and around the entire plaza. It's insane. We split out of the plaza after Damon, and when the first of the Chimeri noticed our presence, their guns raised and trained on us, I immediately began to panic. Luckily for us, Ren's voice rings out through the plaza, commanding their soldiers to stand down at once. I look Zovack's right hand over as they appear from within the lines of the Chimeri, their pale, bionic eyes shifting and glowing with an unnatural light as they size us up. They look as the same as they had on Orion, pale, blonde hair framing a face that currently appraises us with a disinterested stare. The blood red of their armor shines beneath their plaza lights, giving them an almost vampiric look. Well, if it isn't Captain Lynch and his ragtag crew. We were wondering when you would show up. Calderon steps in front of our group, his fingers twitching over one of the blasters in his holster. I'd say it's good to see you again, Carol, but it really isn't. Likewise. Ren studies us all, sizing us up one by one, and no doubt noticing the absentees from our crew, as well as the addition of Tommy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the bonus prize. Looks like you've lost a few members, Captain. Some chose not to come, Damon says. Ren huffs a short laugh, but the sound is anything but warm. Not surprising. There's nothing here for you but crushing defeat. Though we'll find them soon enough, Seraph, Mahaden, Nukes. Just wants you all eliminated. I bristle at their words as I push between Calderon and Damon, staring Ren down with an equally unimpressed glare. Good luck with that. They take a couple of steps towards us, and I feel the men on either side of me tense, but holding their ground. Kiki Pegasi? Pity I didn't know who you were back on Orion. It could have saved me a lot of trouble. You, my dear, are the most valuable prize of all. Ren raises the rifle at me, and I sense movement as Tommy moves forward to place himself in front of me, his hands gripping the hilt of his sword. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Ren laughs, a soft, breathy sound, the gun now trained on Tommy. I try to move forward, but he blocks me, keeping me behind his body. One by one, the others join him, forming a wall in front of me, their weapons armed and ready to fight. What an interesting team you all make. I'm almost sorry to have to part you. Ren signals the soldiers on either side of them, who take aim at us, the half-moon symbol on their armor gleaming beneath the plaza lights. I reach for my blaster, my fingers moving slowly, trying not to draw attention. Hurry up, Vex, hurry up. No grand sacrifices this time, Captain? No begging on your knees for me to spare your crew? Damon growls in their direction before Calderon has the chance to respond. I'm the captain. You don't talk to him, you talk to me. Captain, why Reznor, you're a changed man. You have no idea, he says. Damon and Ren stare each other down. Stare each other down, and the tension between the two sides is thankfully, blissfully interrupted by the sound of approaching footsteps. Commander Quan. I turn as Quan and Katie enter the plaza from opposite sides, a host of guards spilling in behind them. Thankfully, it looks as though they've managed to track down more guards than we had hoped for. This has gone far enough, Karel, or Santa's guard won't stand down any longer. We're here to put an end to this. Ren sneers at him before their eyes narrow on Damon in understanding. It's no wonder you all managed to get this far undetected. You had help. Damon gives them a mocking smile, his daggers unsheathed and held loosely at his sides. You've still got time to surrender, Ren. I'll allow you that much. Surrender? Me? Look around you, Reznor. I think you'll find that it's you who should be surrendering to me. I suppose we'll just have to agree to disagree. You've always been a pain in the butt. Ren waves a hand in the air, and the soldiers that flank them begin to move forward, their sights set on us. Capture the Pegasi, kill the others. Oh no. The soldiers continue forward and we ready ourselves, Ren and the Cameri on one side of the plaza and us and the guard on the other. There's a shot. A shot goes out to the plaza, ringing in my ears, and the Cameri soldier falls down dead. And then another, until the Cameri are scrambling backwards out of range. I look towards the rooftops, and though I see nothing, I thank the gods to finally have Vex and the others backing us up. Hold your ground, Ren says. At Ren's command, the soldiers steel themselves, weapons raised, and then they attack. Bolts of electricity streak past us all as we lunge for cover, pulling out weapons and taking up positions as we're backed up by the guard. I engage my headgear before pulling my blasters from their holsters, picking out the red outlines of Cameri soldiers and taking them out at random. My enemies drop one by one, my headgear making it a breeze to pinpoint each of them and send them sprawling to the ground. I try not to focus too much on the crew, telling myself that they know what they're doing, that they'll be okay. That it's me I need to worry about right now. The fighting quickly turns to close combat, many of the soldiers abandoning their guns in favor of fists and daggers. While some fight like they know how, most seem like little more than civilians who have had a foreign weapon shoved into their hands. I focus on these ones first, feeling out the weaker Cameri, the ones who hesitate, and eliminating them as a threat. Loud shots continue to ring out to the plaza, and I know that the allies we have on the rooftops are watching our backs, and simultaneously spiking the Cameri's nerves, making them wonder if the next bullet is for them. When the fighting finally begins to slow, I snatch a moment to look around for my friends to make sure they are still standing. It's only now that I spot Damon and Ren going head to head, their long swords slicing through the air again and again as Damon meets the steel with the shorter blades of his knives. I lurch into action, my stomach dropping as I realize that Damon is on the back foot, being pushed back time and time again by Ren's blows. He grits his teeth against their attacks, matching their speed blow for blow until he falters, and all it takes is one measly second for Ren to kick him back, sending Damon slamming down to his knees. I watch in horror as Ren draws their sword back, and then it drives forward again before Damon has time to counter them. Damon! I sprint towards him right as Ren pulls their sword from his shoulder with a sickening squelch. Ooh, adieu, Captain Reznor. They raise the blade above their shoulder, preparing to strike. I will my feet to move faster, faster. I'm not going to make it in time. I'm not going to make it. Don't we have a blaster? Just shoot Ren. Ren slices their blade through the air, and I watch helplessly as it hurtles towards Damon. No. And then a clash of steel rings out through the air, and Tommy is there, meeting Ren's blade with his own. Commander Kwon appears a second later, his blaster hovering inches away from Ren's temple. It's over, Karel. Drop your weapon. I survey the plaza to find the remaining Khmer being rounded up by the guard and pushed to their knees, forced to surrender. Ren's sword falls to the stone floor of the plaza with a clatter, and immediately I'm sprinting to Damon's side, the air whooshing from my lungs at the sight of the blood leaking from his shoulder. I'm okay. I'm okay. He grunts in pain, his hand covering the wound from Ren's blade and his face twisted in anger. Okay? You just took a bloody sword to the shoulder. Didn't I tell you I'd keep you safe? Damon. Quickened footsteps echo across the plaza as Vex, Rayona, and June appear. Damon, no. It's alright, Glowbug. No need to, fuss. No need to fuss? Rayona digs around her satchel as she mumbles, looking torn between her worry and her annoyance at him. If you weren't already bleeding out, I'd kill you myself. Yeah, I'm glad you're okay too. Rayona rolls her eyes as she gives him 2 shots, one in the arm and another right next to the wound, before she strips her coat and begins bandaging him. One for the pain and another to slow the bleeding. She explains when she sees the look on my face, her expression softening a bit. Will he be okay? You think I'm going to let Ren be the one to take me out? Think again. With no small amount of struggle, he lets Rayona and I help him to his feet, his hand pressing into his wound and his arm hanging limply at his side despite Rayona's tutting. Meanwhile, Tommy and Kwon have Ren on their knees in front of them, while the other guard round up the remaining Khmer. Beck steps in front of Ren, his rifle slung over his shoulder and his face set in a grim line. I let out a breath of relief, seeing that he is unharmed. Seraph, you didn't desert us after all. You surprised me. I couldn't pass upon the opportunity to take you down, Ren. You should know that. Ren sneers up at him from their place on the ground, their long hair falling in messy tendrils around their face. It's a pity my brother couldn't turn you completely. Oh, so the doctor is her brother? Oh wow, watching your mind break was one of the sweetest things I've ever seen. Ew, that's so weird. Brother? They smirk, but even so I find myself leaning forward, trying to hear what they're saying over the bustle of guard around us. Yes, brother. The doctor, you all call him, but if I know Rowan, he isn't done with you yet. I broke free from his procedure. With the help of the Teleri, my mind is mine again. Vex growls the words at them, his eyes burning with the kind of rage I'd hate to be on the receiving end of. Oh, Seraph. The fact that you think that almost makes all of this worth it. What are they talking about? Vex says nothing. To say he looks shaken would be an understatement, and I'm guessing that's exactly what Ren had intended. It doesn't matter anyway. Alyssa and Zane are in bronze taking care of the doctor. Soon enough he won't be a threat to anyone. You're too much fun, Reznor. My brother isn't in bronze. Something came up that required his attention elsewhere. Their smile turns feline, something sinister and sly creeping onto those eerie eyes. What are you talking about? Ren simply smiles, content to prolong their game. I grit my teeth as I watch. The Bronze District is where Rowan was keeping all of his newest playthings. Your friends will be lucky to make it out of there alive. You're a liar. We both know that's not true. Damon, we ask? Damon turns away with a growl of anger, wincing in pain as the pain shoots through his shoulder. He slams a hand to the wound as he shakes his head to himself. Just let me think. We have to get you back to the ship now before you lose any more blood. It's not a request. I'm telling you now, Damon, we're going. We should kill them before we leave. It's best not to leave any loose threads. Rihanna looks at him, horrified. She waves her hands to gesture around the plaza at the dozens of bodies that now litter its once pristine floor. I think enough blood has already been spilled. No. Ren scoffs, clearly growing impatient at the show. We all turn to them at the sound, finding them glaring between each and every one of us. Ren says, "Go ahead, kill me. It's not going to change anything. You've already lost." "Look around you, Ren, and say that again," we say. They smirk at me, and a sliver of dread worms its way down to my stomach. "Oh, little Pegasi, you have no idea, do you?" I glance over them, and the smile that's too smug, too pleased, and wonder what they know that I don't. "Ignore them, they're just trying to get under your skin." Vex stands between the two of us, blocking me from Ren's unnerving gaze. "If we kill them, we'll be no better than any of them. We should arrest them and let them face a fair trial. It's what both they and the people they've hurt deserve." Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with Aya. Actually, I didn't know that the trial is an option. I just thought either we let them go and they go back to Zovack, or we kill them. But if we think about long term, they should get a trial and maybe life in prison or something like that. Bash says, "And what about the people who aren't here anymore because of them? What about your family, Kiki? Would you really spare them after all they've done? Bash is right, we can't let them live. We need to end this while we have the chance." "Damon?" I look towards our captain and wait for him to weigh in on the situation. We need everyone's opinion if we're going to be able to make this decision. We should keep them alive, at least for now. There might be more information that I can persuade from them. We need to know more before we make our next move against Zovack. "If you think you'll get anything from me, you're stupider than I thought," Ren says. "Shut up, Carol, before I change my mind." As a member of the royal family, Princess Kiki is the highest present authority. It's her decision. "Princess, what do you want us to do with them?" "Oh, don't let me pick, please." As I look around the crew, I feel the weight of the decision settle on my shoulders like a cloak made of lead, pulling me down with its uncertainty. I realize at once what this feeling is, the responsibility of a leader. When my gaze lands on Ren again, on that smug smile and those unusual eyes, I make my choice. We can either kill Ren or arrest them. Oh wow, this is such a heavy choice. Let's I don't know. Let's arrest them, and then after we take on the throne, or at least if Nerissa takes on the throne, then we will make sure that Ren gets a proper punishment after their trial. So arrest Ren. As I look around the plaza, at the blood, the bodies, the destruction, I know that enough is enough. Arrest them. I won't stoop to their level. Are you sure about this, after everything they've done? I glance at Ren as I nod, and though I see no trace of fear or relief in their face, I'm feeling more than enough of those for the both of us. Yeah, I'm sure. This is the right thing to do, Vex. So soft, all you Pegasi vermin, just like your sister Nerissa. No wonder it was so easy for Seraph to put a bullet in her and leave her for dead. I tense at the insult, but it's Vex who steps forward first, his green eyes blazing. Ren glares at us both, but says nothing else as Quan hauls them to their feet and secures their arms behind their back. Ren, Carol, you're under arrest under the authority of Kiki Pegasi. Quan hands them over to a couple of guard members who take Ren away, and Tommy steps over to me with an approving nod. What about the others? He gestures to the rest of the Cameri, all of them surrendered on their knees, their hands bound. Arrest them. Commander Quan, can you take care of it? We have holding cells at the terminal. We can keep them there for the time being, but Zovack will come for them. Then we have to act fast. I lead the rounding up of the Cameri in the capable hands of Commander Quan and Tommy while I turn back to the crew. There are a few disappointed faces, those who believe I should have put an end to Ren. But I can live with their disapproval if it means my own conscience is clear. When it comes down to it, this was my decision. I chose this. And no matter what happens next, I have to live with it. So, now what? With some help from Rayona, Damon shrugs on his jacket and attempts to stand straight despite the blood that stains the bandages across his shoulder. Let's get back to the terminal and see how they're doing with the communications. Once we're there, we can get in contact with the others, and hopefully Alyssa and Zane will be back before too long. I don't miss the flicker of worry in his eyes, and I can't say that I blame him. After what Ren had told us about the Bronze District, we need to ensure that the Cursons are safe. Damon. Rayona stomps her foot in annoyance, her satchel of medical supplies swinging from her shoulder as she does so. I need to tend to that wound in the infirmary unless you want to lose function in that arm completely. Indeed, as Rayona scolds him, I notice how Damon's arm is still hanging limp at his side, and I'm not sure if it's simply the pain or some other damage which is keeping it that way. Rayona is right, you need to deal with that first. And here I thought being the captain meant you couldn't boss me around anymore. Damon clicks his tongue at us both before he turns to Calderon with a tired look. Ugh, take it back, Cal. I don't want it anymore. Cal shakes his head at us all, his expression filled with the kind of warmth we rarely see from him. While I agree with both Rayona and Kiki that you need to get that shoulder taken care of, I'll admit that you made a pretty good captain. Damon grins at the compliment, and I have to stop myself from groaning out loud at the smugness of it. Oh? Keep sweet-talking me like that and I might enjoy being on top again sometime. Damon winks at the captain, whose eyebrows shoot upwards before he rolls his eyes at his newly reinstated second-in-command. Damon. A glance between them trying desperately to hold in a laugh as Damon grins at me before he walks off. With a lingering smile, I turn to Calderon, relieved to see him taking up his mantle as captain once again. So how do you feel, now that our mission is over? I feel good. Really good. I know we can't change everything that Ren, Zovack, and the Chimera have done, but this feels like a start. Around the plaza, the guard have things well and truly under control, and the burst of satisfaction goes through me. We did it. Despite all odds, our mission was a complete success, and I'm so proud of the crew, every single one of them. Footsteps alert us to Commander Kwon, who steps towards Calderon and I with a nod. There are still Chimera patrolling the city, no doubt some of them will be on their way here. We have a couple of ships on standby waiting to take us back to the terminal. I'll leave a unit to hold off any approaching Chimera. Thank you, Commander Kwon. I'll round up the crew and we'll head off at once. I assist Calderon with getting the crew together and we head for the ships. The relief at not having to sneak our way back through the city is immense, especially with Damon injured. We reach the terminal safely, exiting the ship to find the bustle of activity. As promised, Kwon and the guard are taking care of the Chimera we arrested, placing them in holding cells within the terminal. Ren is being held for questioning, and once Damon has had a chance to get cleaned up and have his wound tended to, he'll be let loose on them. Katie spots us and hurries over with a grin. Good news, communications are back up and running. Your friend, Oppo, was a real help. We've managed to override the Chimera's hold on interplanetary communications, and all systems are working as normal. Have you heard anything from Alyssa and Zane? Katie shakes her head, her smile fading, and my stomach drops in disappointment. There's been nothing. I'm sorry, Katie says. Damon turns back to the crew, his jaw tight and his eyes hard. I've never seen him so on edge before. Yeah, because Damon is worried about Alyssa. And Zane by proxy as well, but more so Alyssa. Like, you can tell that it's Alyssa he cares the most about out of the two persons. A sinking feeling comes over me and I can understand some of what he's feeling. Wherever Alyssa and Zane are, I can only hope they're safe. Let's go to the ship and see if they've tried making contact with us there. I'll check the comms while you head to the infirmary and let Rayona see to your wound. Rayona says, yes, I really think that's... No, I need to do this, Damon throws a hand up in frustration as he paces a couple of steps and then lets out a heavy sigh. I'm sorry, it's just... I can't lose them. Calderon nods as he places a hand on Damon's uninjured arm, his voice soft. I understand. Let's check our communications at once. Thanks, Cal. Alright. And we head to the ship, and as we step into the docks, I let out a breath of relief as I realize that we're all here together. We all made it. Cal and Damon busy themselves with our communication system, getting it up and running while the rest of us take a seat on the crates and stairs to catch our breath. I listened to June recount what had happened when Vex, Rayona, and himself had headed for the rooftops. Indeed, there were a few Chimera soldiers perched up high, but between themselves and the guard they had dispatched them easily enough. My gaze darts to the captain and second in command, hoping for good news soon. When their chatter cuts off abruptly, I push myself up from the step I've been sitting on and head over to join them. Is there anything there? Nothing from Alyssa and Zane, but... Damon turns to me, his face stark white and his eyes wide. Immediately, a chill comes over me. What is it? We've received a transmission from Zovack. It's addressed to you. I look between them, searching their eyes for any clues on the content. You've watched it? We skipped through it. We don't know what he said in it, but we saw... Cal trails off, as though his own tongue won't let him say any more. My heart thumps in my chest, picking up speed, and my breathing feels wrong, too rough and ragged in my lungs. Play it. Kiki, I don't think that's the best. I lurch forward, attempting to hit the screen myself, but Calderon stops me. Play it now! Kiki? I can see it now, plain as day on the captain's face. He already knows what it is, and it's nothing good. Please, play the transmission. The two of them exchange one last heavy look before Damon presses a button on the panel and a video message appears. I wonder, does Zovack have Nerissa, or what's going on? Again, we have Zovack. Zovack's face is the first thing I see. That smug, ever-charming smile plastered on his face. Nausea rises in me at the sight of that silver crown on his head. Can everybody see me? Good. Let's begin. Kiki Pegasi. I'm sure by now you're here on Godis planning your next move. My heart sinks as he grins into the camera, his eyes glinting with something predatory that chills me all the way to the bone. Yes, I know all about your mission to eliminate the general of my army. I applaud you for your bravery, but you'll find the task more difficult than you think. My eyebrows dip in confusion until I realize that he doesn't know about Ren. Doesn't know that we're currently holding them and their soldiers in the silver terminal cells. I would laugh at his warning if it wasn't so on edge. Difficult? It's clear that he's underestimating us. I know about your other friends too. At this, my breath sticks in my throat. We still haven't heard from the Cursons, and with no idea where they are, our options for finding them are slim. Zane and Alyssa? They put up a good fight, but ultimately our creations overwhelmed them. I suppose that will teach them that they should have aligned with me when they had the chance. No! Damon pushes forward, his growl of disbelief mimicking the thoughts in my head. They're safe for the time being, Zovack says. But depending on how things play out, that may not last. That bastard. I hear Calderon murmuring something to his second off to the side, but I can't tear my eyes away from the screen. Oh yeah, that's Nerissa right there, and that's Kyle, right? Zovack adjusts the camera, and now I see why he's so smug. I spoke my sister first, bound on her knees in front of our father's throne. Nerissa, no! And next to it, lifelessly, slumped over, Kyle. How old is this recording? We received it about an hour ago. My mind races at 1,000,000 miles a minute. How is Nerissa there? How did Zovack get to her? Hold this for me, will you? Zovack passes the camera to someone off screen who continues to film as he moves closer to the throne. The bot's memory chip was very interesting when we ripped it out of its thick skull. It filled in the gaps of our intel quite nicely. Oh my god, is Kyle dead? Zovack toes Kay with his boot, who sits there motionless, his arms limp at his sides. Oh, don't worry, it's fine. It won't remember you, of course, but it still has its uses. I hear the rest of the crew shuffling behind me, but I'm too focused on the screen to notice much else. Zovack crouches in front of Nerissa, placing a finger beneath her chin to force her head upwards. Nerissa, darling, anything to say to your sister? Nerissa stares past him, her violet eyes like twin daggers as she finds the lens of the camera and hisses. Kiki, don't let him. Zovack shoves a hand over her mouth abruptly and gives her a warning look. Now, we've talked about this. If you want to keep your friends alive and your sister safe, you'll be a good girl and play along. Slowly he removes his hand, and once it's clear she's not going to yell out again, he smiles at her. There you go. You see, things aren't so bad when we're getting along, are they? Nerissa says nothing, but if looks could kill, Zovack would be nothing more than a pile of ashes on the ground. He pushes himself to a standing position as he thuds down at her. Oh, don't look at me like that. I did you a favor, really. You killed my family, Nerissa yells. She snarls at him, the fire in her eyes matching the fury that's burning within my own blood. As I watch him on that screen, the usurper, I become more and more agitated, my hands trembling uncontrollably at my sides. I raised the final obstacle to your rule, your father, and I made sure none of your other perky siblings got any bright ideas. Honestly, Nerissa, it hurts me that you don't see this. He takes a few steps away, but his eyes never leave her, as though afraid of what she might do if he takes his eyes off of her even for a second. And now you'll marry me and we'll rule together. Problem solved. Ew! What? Oh my god, that is disturbing. That is on another level of disturbing. I think we'll have fun, don't you? I'd rather die, Nerissa says. A fitting plan B, though not conducive to my plan, I'm afraid. But no matter. He grins, wide and wolfish, and the shiver goes through me. The doctor has been waiting for another test subject. Soon enough, my love, you'll be smiling prettily and saying I do. Oh! He's gonna use the doctor to brainwash Nerissa into marrying him. Oh my god, that is disgusting, disturbing. All of the bad things. My stomach lurches after hearing his plans, bile creeping up in the back of my throat. If the doctor gets his hand on my sister, I can't stand to think of it. What will it mean for the system? And for me? Nerissa glares at him, but I don't miss the flash of panic that streaks across her face, gone almost as quickly as it came. You'll pay for this, Jess, for everything you've done. Zovack chuckles, as though every word she spits at him is as harmless as she is. As though she's nothing more than a lost little lamb that has wandered into his den. The sight of that smug grin makes me sick to my stomach, and I vow to myself that if given the chance, I'll show him who the wolf truly is while I claw it right off his face. While I admire your spirit, I think that will be the first thing we'll rip from you. Nerissa hisses at him as she fights against her bonds, but to no avail. Zovack simply smirks before turning back to address the camera. As for you, dear Kiki, I'm willing to offer you a deal. He opens his arms in an embrace-like gesture, his deep red cloak falling off to the side. Come and live in my palace. Be my advisor, my emissary to the planets and people of Celiota, and your friends, your crew. You have my word that I'll spare their lives. I started the offer, but something about the way he speaks makes me doubt every poisonous word that falls from his lips. Your sister will be safe in her role as my wife, and you'll enjoy all the benefits befitting your station, Princess of Celiota and the high-ranking member of the Chimeri. You see, you've become a sort of idol among the people. He almost spits the word idol, and I can see from the heat in his eyes that this fact is less than welcome to him. Think about the good you could do with a position like that. My eyes narrow as I study the man through the screen, as I weigh his offer and wonder why he would bother to go to the trouble of installing me in such a position instead of just killing me. It can be because of his intention to marry Nerissa. If all goes his way and the doctor manages to scramble her mind, then it won't matter if I'm alive or dead. And then it hits me. He won't dare kill me, not when there's a chance that the people he pretends to rule will rebel against him because of it. But that doesn't mean that he won't kill others to get to me. In return, you'll have my protection, he says, in a life others can only dream of. A life that I'm sure even you have dreamed of. But I must warn you that if you dare to stand against me, your crew and many more will die. Don't come, Kiki, Nerissa says. Don't. Zovack shoves her to the floor and points a finger in her face, his mask slipping enough to show the monster lurking beneath. This is your last warning, princess, before I start calling for executions. He gives her one last hard look before he pushes himself to his feet and strengthens the crown on his head. I'll be seeing you, Kiki. Soon, I should hope. He reaches out to take back the camera until a sound distracts him and he turns. There's a thump from the throne and I realize that Kyle has lifted his arm only for it to fall back to his side. He does it again and it almost looks as though he's reaching for Nerissa. Zovack struts over to him, the camera now forgotten. Kay? Tears start to fall down my sister's face, but Zovack ignores her as he crouches next to the bot. Kyle, don't worry, my friend, I haven't forgotten about you. No, I have big plans for you. Get away from him. Oh? Don't tell me you care for this thing. Zovack sneers at her as he looks between the two of them, his face cruel and calculating. I'm sorry to tell you, love, but I don't think that it has a heart. He has more of a heart than you'll ever have, Nerissa says. We'll soon find out. Rowan, rip it apart. Zovack gestures to someone standing off to the side and immediately recognizes the name, Ren's brother, the doctor. With pleasure, the doctor says. Nerissa fights against her bonds, trying to push herself closer to Kay as a pair of Khmeri soldiers step forward to hoist them to his feet. No, no. The footage cuts out, Nerissa's scream still ringing in my ears. For a long time, I stare at that blank screen, trying to make sense of what I've seen. So many questions are running through my mind. How did Nerissa get there? Is Telarin safe? Where is he keeping Alyssa and Zane? What will he do to Kay? It's only when I feel a warm hand on my shoulder that I turn, finding Calderon staring at me, wide-eyed. Questions. So many questions, but my tongue sits uselessly in my mouth, unwilling to move. The rest of the crew gather around, every single pair of eyes on me, and the world spins on its axis, threatening to come crashing down at any moment. Kiki, what do we do? Calderon asks. End of episode 9. Oh my god. And so this is the end of episode 9. It's bringing me back to the homepage because episode 9 is the latest episode to come out completely. We still don't have episode 10, which will be the last episode, and the epilogue. So if you guys are not in the Andromeda 6 Discord, I am in the Discord, and I checked. There was a poll recently that said that they are working on episode 10 and on the epilogue as well, and they asked us whether to release them both together or release episode 10 and then release the epilogue afterwards, sometime after. And most people voted for releasing episode 10 and the epilogue together at the same time. So what that means is we'll have to wait a little bit longer than usual for episode 10 and the epilogue to come out together. So they're still working on it. I don't have access to the Patreon updates. I only have access to the Discord and their newsletter. But that is it. Please let me know what you thought of this episode so far, of the entire story so far. I did not expect that twist of Zovack kidnapping Nerissa and brainwashing her to become his wife, which is so disgusting and awful on just multiple levels. I honestly did not see this coming. Very, very disturbing. I definitely will not, if we have the choice to accept his offer, I will not accept it. His offer was to basically make Nerissa his wife and us to be as a princess of Seliota and to be as an advisor. I will not take this option. I'm gonna definitely try and save Nerissa and kill Zovack because that's the only way that we can end his rule. That's what I would choose if we get that option. But this was very interesting. Very good story so far. I am excited. I don't know when episode 10 is coming out. But I will be keeping in touch with the Discord, and I'm gonna be making sure that I finish episode 10 and the epilogue once they come out. I don't think it should be too long from now, but again, we don't have a specific date. But that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye bye!